Now, to describe Juarez as completely violent and chaotic, I think is also a disservice. So we have to be very mindful not to misrepresent the region, that the city is more than just violence against women. It's a very complex global city that is tied to economic transactions, that people are making decisions about Ciudad Juarez and industries that make a lot of money off women's labor. Yeah, so when you think about violence, there's different levels of violence. There's structural violence, or like systemic, institutional violence, and then the personal, interpersonal violence, and then there's different violences in between: microaggressions, sexual harassment, not getting paid what you're worth, the exploitation of your body, the exposure of women's bodies to so many toxic chemicals. There's a lot of toxins in industry that women are exposed to that affect, their cancer rates, their reproductive possibilities. Most of the time, maquilas have really recruited young women. They've been really careful not to try to hire women who are pregnant. It's not uncommon to hear that women have been given birth control pills or asked if they're on the pill. They tend to discourage women from getting pregnant and stopping out of work. There's also the location of where women are able to live, because the salaries of the maquilas are not very high. Maybe they're higher than other parts of Mexico. In rural Mexico, where there are limited jobs for women, maquilas tend to be a magnet for women in southern and central Mexico, in the coastal areas. So you have a lot of women migrate and leave their families behind in search of better jobs. And so maquilas usually have 3 shifts, 8-hour shifts, right? So what happens to these women when they work late shifts and then they have to take a bus, and then the bus drops them off, and maybe their neighborhoods are not well lit or there's no pavement, and they have to walk through these dark neighborhoods to get home. So they're exposed to the elements, to a lot more opportunities to have violence inflicted upon them. We also have a patriarchal system, right, that has not always privileged the rights of women. Women have a lot of policies that have passed in Mexico that indicate that we have protections, but to a certain extent, there's still the culture of violence, right? So the notion of feminicides is violence done to women because they are women. When women have been killed, they haven't just been killed because someone decided to kill them, but they also been kidnapped, and they have been raped, and then they have been killed, and some have been dismembered.
So, like the big companies came with the standards. Let's say that I work in a maquila industry where it was glove factory, and they have like a standard that a woman should do, let's say, 300 gloves a year. I mean, a day. Sewing the gloves. And when they came in, 300 was like the standard that they have, the quota that they have for the daily fabrication of gloves. But the ladies here start making, let's say, 320. So they have to move the standard. Instead of being paying a little bit more because they make more of the standard, because when they make more than the standard, they should be paying a little bit more. But they move the standards. Instead of being 300 a day, they make it 320. And then they found out that they can make 350, so they changed it.